My 7-year-old daughter, who had done nothing wrong, was being held at gunpoint by Karen, our insane HOA president. This is how it all began. I returned from work exhausted, ready to take off my boots and collapse on the couch when I noticed something jammed in my mailbox. Another letter. Another bright yellow HOA violation. And this one was bold enough to yell at me for the offense of leaving my car parked in my own driveway overnight. I was nearly furious. But then I reviewed the bylaws, and guess what? It was actually a violation. Still, this is what set me off. My neighbors had their cars parked too. Whole fleets, sitting right there every day. I confirmed it with my own eyes. Yet they never got a violation. So why me? I was quietly annoyed, but I decided to just pay the fine and keep my peace. Welcome to Prodigy Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch HOA drama. A few days later, I stepped out with a cup of coffee in hand, only to find another envelope waiting for me, like some cursed present. This time, it wasn't about the car. Oh no. This time, I was fined for having a basketball hoop in my driveway. A basketball hoop! The exact same kind almost every neighbor had, some even two. I froze, my coffee halfway to my mouth, and that's when I lost it. It was all personal now. The realization struck me like a hammer to the chest. This wasn't about rules. This was Karen, the HOA queen herself, singling me out like she had my name written on her target board. I paced my living room like a caged animal, papers crumpled in my hands. I wasn't angry about paying. I was angry about being targeted, about being painted as the bad guy when I wasn't. And the craziest part? Karen herself had a basketball hoop standing tall on her driveway. But somehow, she wasn't on the hit list. I felt the anger burn hotter, but deep down, a plan started forming. If she wanted to make this personal, fine. She had no idea who she was dealing with. Before we dive deeply, let us know in the comments what country or which city you're watching this story from. We'd love to know how far this story travels. I marched right up to Karen's perfect little porch, knocked once, and she swung the door open with that smug grin that made my blood pressure spike. I told her straight, no sugarcoating. There is no way you're going to fine me for having a basketball hoop in my driveway when half the neighborhood, including you, has one. She leaned against her doorway like she was posing for a villain movie poster, arms crossed, and with the nastiest tone replied, "Pay the fee or face the consequences. I don't care if everyone else has one. You're the one I'm watching." My fists clenched so hard I thought my knuckles would crack. This wasn't just hypocrisy, it was open warfare. The days that followed were like a horror movie written by a petty director. Karen started stacking $50 late fees for every single day I didn't pay. My mailbox looked like it had gone through a paper explosion, each envelope screaming deader, louder than the last. At first I tried to ignore her, tossing the letters into a shoebox I didn't bother opening anymore. But then Karen upgraded her game. She started dragging my name through HOA platforms, posting in the community group chat, calling me irresponsible, lazy, and a lawbreaker. She strutted around like she'd uncovered a scandal. Neighbors began whispering when I walked past. Some gave me sympathetic looks, others smirked, enjoying the spectacle. Karen was staging a public trial without a courtroom. She'd corner people on the street, wagging her finger, painting me darker than coal. I'd catch her whispering in hushed tones at block parties, her cronies laughing like hyenas. And the worst part? I thought that was the endgame. I thought her goal was to embarrass me into submission, to crush me under a mountain of shame and overdue letters. I thought the mailbox ambush and neighborhood slander were as far as she'd go. I was dead wrong. Karen wasn't just sharpening her claws, she was preparing to bare her fangs. I could feel it in the way she looked at me whenever we crossed paths. eyes narrowed like a cat about to pounce. I didn't know how deep she was willing to go, but the tension in the ear was electric, and something told me she was planning her next move, and it wouldn't be pretty.
I had just finished fixing a loose hinge on the back gate when I heard the school bus brakes hiss at the corner. My little girl Sophia hopped off with her backpack bouncing, her braids swinging as she skipped toward the house. A smile stretched across my face. Moments like that erased every ounce of stress I carried. But this time she hesitated at the door. She stood frozen, her small hand hovering near the knob, her eyes wide like she'd seen a ghost. Then I heard it, a scream that cut through my chest like a blade. "Dad!" My blood turned ice. I dropped the screwdriver and sprinted around the house, heart hammering, only to see the sight that nearly made me lose my mind. Karen, standing right there on my porch, pointing a gun at my 7-year-old daughter. For a moment, the world stopped. My jaw clenched, my hands trembled, and my vision tunneled into nothing but Karen's wicked grin behind that weapon. My daughter sobbed, her voice breaking as she cried, "Dad!" Tears streaked down her cheeks, her tiny frame shaking in terror. "Are you out of your mind?" I roared, my voice echoing so loud the neighbors came rushing out of their homes. Phones whipped out instantly, recording every second of Karen's meltdown. Karen's eyes glistened with pure madness. "You better pay up what you owe," she hissed, her finger twitching dangerously close to the trigger. "Or I might just have to pull this. Trust me, I won't hesitate." I could hardly breathe. My fists balled so tight my nails dug into my palms. Neighbors gasped, some yelling at her to put it down, others frozen in disbelief. Someone shouted they had called 911. The street filled with whispers, cries, and the unmistakable sound of every camera catching the insanity in real time. But Karen, she didn't flinch. She actually looked proud, like she was proving a point to the whole neighborhood. My daughter's cries pierced the air, each one stabbing my chest. This wasn't just HOA drama anymore. This was a nightmare. And Karen had just crossed a line there was no coming back from. The sirens cut through the chaos before I even saw the flashing lights. My neighbors parted like waves as 2 squad cars screeched to a stop in front of my house. Karen, still clutching the gun, turned to the crowd with this twisted, triumphant grin and yelled, "Finally! Officers, arrest this man! He's a non-compliant debtor of HOA rules!" The arrogance dripped from her voice like poison, as if she thought she was running the whole operation. But the cops weren't buying it. One officer drew his weapon instantly and barked, "Ma'am, put the gun down, now." His tone wasn't polite HOA small talk. It was cold, commanding, the kind of voice that cuts straight through bone. My daughter bolted into my arms the second Karen's grip faltered, her little body trembling against my chest. I held her tight, never wanting to let go. Karen's eyes darted between the officer's gun and the crowd of neighbors filming her every twitch. She lowered her weapon slowly, but not before shooting me one last venomous glare, like she still thought she had the upper hand. Within seconds, she was in handcuffs, shoved into the back of a cruiser while the crowd erupted in shouts and disbelief. Phones were everywhere. I knew this footage would be viral by morning, but I wasn't stopping at public humiliation, not after she pointed a gun at my child. I called my lawyer that night. By morning, we had charges lined up that would bury Karen deeper than any HOA bylaw ever could. Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, child endangerment, brandishing a firearm, emotional distress, the whole arsenal. Court day was brutal. Karen shuffled in wearing an orange jumpsuit, her smugness long gone, her hair a mess. Every detail of her madness was replayed on a big screen for the jury, neighbors testifying against her, one after another. The judge didn't hesitate. 15 years behind bars, $1.5 million in punitive damages straight to me and my family, and as a bonus, she lost her gun rights for life. Karen, the HOA queen who thought she could rule by fear, left the courtroom in shackles, her empire of pettiness burned to ash. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below. Also, if you really love this video and want to support the channel directly, you can hit that super thanks button below. It really helps us keep bringing you more HOA chaos.